back to the day two session UiPath from Hyperautomation AI. And I would like to know from you guys, like whether can hear me, right? Everyone?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, we
we
can.
can
Yeah.
hear you.
Yes, we can.
Perfect. So I would like to know something from you before I start with, because today we are going to talk about the introduction to RPA, and also we will be talking about the RPA development lifecycle. So before we jump into our actual session, I would like to know from you guys. So what is your opinion? Like, what do you mean by RPA? What is your understanding on RPA? So if someone can unmute and to share your views, or you can even type in the chat. So both will be fine. Anyone, guys?
Yeah, pathflow, it's basically like any manual works that we are trying to do,
Mhm.
that we are trying to make it as in the automation by making use of some type of the software technology.
Perfect.
And automating repetitive tasks that takes more time for humans or more human effort.
Mhm.
So, in order to replace the repetitive tasks by human intervention, we use RPA.
Mhm.
And yeah, that's all it is.
Perfect. Perfect. So I think majority of you already aware of like what is actually the RPA, the basic understanding of, you are already having a basic understanding of an RPA, I guess, right? So let me just put let us try to put all the things in one place. I think someone turned on the camera, I guess. Manoj, right? So can you turn off? Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, man. Yeah. So I'm sharing my screen. So just confirm me once you can see my screen.
Yeah, we can.
Perfect. Perfect. Thanks. Thanks for the confirmation. So let us take the introduction to RP. So generally when we talk
Can you,
about R, yeah,
sorry to interrupt. Can you zoom a bit the
sure,
screen?
sure, sure. Perfect. Yeah, I will do that. Just a single page view. Is this fine or you want some more?
Yeah, it's fine.
That will be fine.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. So, so already whenever we talk about any words which are of combination synonyms or something, right? So the first thing which generally we come across, or first we will try to understand is its full form, right? So the full form RPA is nothing but robotic process automation. So if you see here, here we have three keywords. When you look at this full form of RPA, you have three keywords. And when we are talking about what actually the RPA, the definition, or what actually the background of it, whatever you mentioned, both in the chat messages, both in the um, explanation of by unmuting yourself, right? So all these are correct. And when we tie them together, so which is nothing but we want to reduce the work done by the human and hand over that work to the machine, right? So here in this, we have three keywords. One is robotic, other is process, another is automation. See, forget about robotic. Don't talk about this. I don't think like it actually adds a value when we are trying to understand about RPA, because the robotic is nothing but it's like saying that it's an agent sitting on your machine, which is nothing but your program, right? When you're talking about the software automations, see, you have the industrial automation, you have the software automation as well, right? So in the industrial automation, it is something different. You will be having a physical robot or something. But when it comes to the software, there will be a program or an application sitting on your machine, which will execute your scripts in order to automate your work, right? So when it comes to the process, let us talk more about the process rather than talking about the robotic or robot, because the robot is nothing but just an agent. So I'll just simply say agent installed on machine. Okay. And now process. What actually mean by process? Set of tasks executed in sequential order. Right? Correct?
Mm.
Yeah.
Automation is nothing but like reducing the manual effort or handovering this entire work to be done by a robot, right? Which is nothing but performing any task without human intervention, right? So whenever you are performing any action without having any human intervention, that we call it as an automation. So the combination of this will be nothing but the robotic process automation, which means an agent installed on a machine performing set of tasks without any human intervention is nothing but a robotic process automation. And someone mentioned mimic. So what is nothing but mimic? What do you mean by mimic? Exactly performing how human works. It's kind of like you can say imitation, right? So that's how mimic means. Like whenever we are working with an application, however you are working, the way you are working, in case if the bot tries to reflect the same, what you are doing, that we call it as a mimic. But all the time, is it going to be only mimicking? No, because if you talk about any application, right? When you talk about any application in a software, right? You'll be having front end, back end. Nothing but front end is client side, which means wherever your eyes are seeing, right? An application, like it can be a browser or it can be even this Word document, right? Whatever you're seeing in front of this word, text, and all these things, this is your front end. And back end is like the logic, core logic, what needs to be handled and all. But generally, in majority of the web applications, we call this server side and client side, not on the Word or something. Let us suppose you're going to Amazon.com.in, right? Whatever your screen you're seeing, what are search boxes or products, that is your front end, or you call it as a client side, which you can see that with your eyes. And the back end is nothing but server side, where the Amazon website server is hosted, right? This is server side. So whatever we try to perform on top of that application, that will be with the help of your mouse and keyboard, and you'll be performing your activities. In case the robot also tries to do the same from the web application interface, that we call it as a mimic. But always we will do the mimic? No. We have some other automations as well, right? Like the program can directly interact with the server through an API or any other matter, right? Any other manner, it can be done. It's not necessary always to be mimic the human, but it mimics the human as well. And we will see about all this, like what is API and all going further. But as part of this introduction, like when we call it as a mimicking, so when you say mimic, yes, there is a possibility of mimic to the human, but it's not always. So are we clear, guys, on this, or any questions till now?
No, this.
Patru,
Yeah.
can you explain back-end application once? Like, is it like normally front-end application we click through mouse clicks, right?
Yes.
Directly we'll spy. Back-end application, can you explain how we spy and all that? Just for
Backend application, backend in the sense it's completely your web server. Where 1 second, guys, just give me a moment. Yeah, sorry. So the backend is server, right? When you are hosting your entire web application at some place and you are giving access to your application through a browser where the people can interact with. But the server, right? We are not going to spy or something. It is kind of like we will be directly interacting with, well, with the help of API concept.
Patru, I'm having one question like, for example, we are having few activities, right, in the UiPath. Each and every activity is going to be some scripted one.
Yes.
That means in the backend, we are having some code will be there. According to that, that activity is going to run. So that can we say like each and every activity is also going to be like as on the backend one?
No. See, backend or the front end will come into the picture when you are talking about your web applications, because it is hosted somewhere in a different server and you're
Okay.
accessing from a different location with the help of browser, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Clear.
here everything is on your system only.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so now see, these two concepts are very simple, right? Automation is simple in terms of meaning. Robotic is simple. Let us focus on process. This is not simple. This is the toughest one. I feel like out of these three words. So process. See, any step, any sequential steps or tasks will be considered as a process. Can you give some examples? Can anyone give me some examples?
Going to the browser
Extracting
and clicking
data.
on something.
Extracting data from any application. Someone is saying
Invoice
something.
processing or payment processing.
Sorry.
Yes, invoice
Logging into the portal
Invoice
and
Logging into the portal.
and downloading
Okay.
something is going to be some progress.
Yeah, that is fine. Downloading of any data, downloading of any file or data. Okay. Payments. Someone mentioned invoice processing. Right? Did someone mention it? Okay. You're going very high level, yeah. Much more deeper. So I doesn't want to consider these points, whatever you mentioned. Okay. See, of course, those are the main processes generally we do the automation. Okay. So let us take a very simple examples. Okay. We'll come to that, like whatever you guys are mentioning. So we will come to that. So extracting from data from any of the applications or logging into some portals or logging out from portals or download by logging into any portal and downloading some files or getting some data or some putting some data. So these are the things which we generally perform, right? That we can call it as a process, right? It's a very simple processes, right? Even like the booking, like I expected something from you guys is like something what actually you do your in your day-to-day life. See, forget about like the software company or the software industry or any customer or any automation you want to propose. So can you tell me some processes which you do or you look in a day-to-day life?
Chatbots.
Sorry,
Chatbot.
chatbot. Are you frequently getting interacted with the chatbot or something? So see,
No.
I'm not asking about like what you see in terms of automation. I'm asking about like what you actually do your process. Now I am not talking about automation. Forget about the automation.
Oh.
We doesn't want to talk anything on the automation. We want to talk only on the processes. Only we want to understand the processes. We doesn't want to talk about automation or AI or a chatbot. We doesn't want to look at any of those things. The only thing what I want to see is see the frequently what we generally do. Ticket booking. It can be your bus ticket or a train ticket or your movie ticket, right?
Correct.
One is ticket booking, and the other, anything else?
Online shopping, looking into various shopping portals.
Online shopping for price
Applying
matching,
jobs.
price for better price, right? Like you can do the price comparison between Flipkart and Amazon for a specific product. That's what we generally do, right? When we do the window shoppings. Before we buy, we'll look at all the portals and we'll compare with the other platforms and we'll try to get a better price, which is better, right? Next, someone said like applying for the jobs, right? Applying for the jobs on job portals, right? So these are the basic three things which generally everyone will do, right? When we are working, like looking for a job and all these things, we will be having it. So, so I considered only these three, which we generally do in our day-to-day life, right? So let us take any of these examples. So which you want to take? Which one you want to take?
Ticket
To
booking.
discuss. Ticket booking? Okay, fine. See, when you talk about ticket booking, right? First logging into the portal. Whatever might be, it can be your make my trip or anything, right? It doesn't matter. Search for tickets available by inputting date or which is nothing but from destination, which is nothing but to, right? So we will be searching for the tickets are available or not. If tickets are available, book tickets. If not available, look for next day. So let us suppose this is how we generally do, right? Like we will be searching for the tickets and if the tickets are available, we will book. If not, we will look for whether the tickets are available for the next day or not, right? Correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So all this, whatever we are like trying to do manually, when we will be doing it, like when we are manually trying to do it. So automating this process through RPA platforms or tools like UiPath, Blue Prism, Power Automate, Automation Anywhere, doesn't matter whatever the tool it is, right? So, or even with Python, it doesn't matter, right? So that we call it as an RPA. So it's not necessary. Don't think of like a very big use cases of like payments or invoices or anything. Don't think of that. When you start learning, just think of what you generally do in your day-to-day life. And that actually will help you to kickstart your RPA journey or initiate your automation. First, you do what you know, and then you can explore the actual business processes. See, these are the processes, right? And now I'll be coming to business processes. So what is business process? See, there is no much difference. When you say the business processes, we just use some words just to make you to get confused and want to showcase that when we are working in an industry, we know much more better than you. It's just a word junglings. Generally, the people will do. There's no difference. Like when you add one word, right? Do not expect that like it is having a lot of change, but slight change will be there. Whatever the processes you perform in your organization as part of your business is business process. That's it. There is no difference, no much difference. Processes are tasks performed in an organization as part of day-to-day business. It's simply the business process. Okay, examples we can say now. Now I will take your examples, guys. Payments, right? This is nothing but accounts payable. Invoice processing, generally everyone will be talking about it, right? Right. So payments, or you can say anything, guys. Onboarding, employee onboarding, right? And anything, guys? Anything you wanna tell now in terms of business processes?
Mails.
Logistics. Logistics.
Logistics.
Document
See, when you say
understanding.
logistics, right, we cannot call it as a process. See, when you're talking about when you're saying logistics, right, it will be considered as a department. But inside of the logistics, you'll be having multiple processes, right? You can say,
Yeah.
Bill of entry is part of logistics. So in
Yes.
department, you'll be having multiple processes, right? So we need to think towards the process side. Of course, you should be knowing the department as well, but it's good to know even the below things as well. Okay. So now we are clear
Yeah,
about
got
like business processes as well, up to some extent, not that much, but up to some extent, right? For now, how we will identify which process to be automated? How can you decide whether this process can be automated or not? On what basis? Anyone, guys?
Depending on the amount of data it is processing. Like, is it a bulk
Amount
amount of
of
data?
transactions or number of records to be. It's kind of a number of records. Number of records to be processed with repetitive steps. Because let us suppose you have 100 records, right? But you need to perform it in 100 ways. So it is not fit for automation, right? Your implementation time will take more than the processing time. Let us suppose if you have only 50 records and every record will take all same steps. In that case, it is fit for automation. So it's not about like only the high volume with repetitive steps. Same steps. Got it? Yeah, guys, or any?
Yeah, clean.
Perfect. And what is the next point? Any other point? Stable processes, which means steps for the process are fixed and no changes to the process and to the applications as well. Whatever the application you are using or the target application, let us suppose you need to perform a task on a web application. If the web application is keep on changing, then it is not a good fit for our automation. So the process and application stability is much more important. Mature processes, the people call it as a mature processes. Mature processes are nothing but the stable processes, which already you have a predefined or a fixed and known steps to be performed. What else, guys? Anything else?
Repeated task,
Sorry?
repeated task on day-to-day task they are doing.
Yeah, here we mentioned it
Organization
in the
level.
first in the first point itself we mentioned, right? Repetitive steps.
Just now I joined. Okay.
Okay, no worries. Yeah,
Thank you.
no worries. So what else do we have? Repetitive, high volume,
Reading
rule
data.
based, rule based. Nowadays we are automating which are like bit cognitive also, but when it comes to the RPA, we need to have this something at least in terms of process, right? Not in terms of like the input data or something. Whatever we are calling right now, we are AI capable of doing automations. Like we are AI powered or the bot is beyond the rule based and all. So I don't believe it. See, based on the input data, we can leverage the artificial intelligence, but not in terms of process level. When it comes to the process level, it should be always rule based. Okay. Rule based. Anything, guys? Someone is saying something like when I'm talking about rule based. Anything? Feasibility and complexity check. Okay. Up to some, but what are the
Reading
criteria in order to do
reading
that?
something from a document.
Mm, see, we can consider it to be a structured input, but now we are dealing with semi-structured and unstructured also.
Okay.
So these are the major criteria we generally consider, but there is one thing written in the chart, right? There is something written in the chart. Feasibility and complexity, right? We will talk about this. Just keep this in mind. And as of now, I'm not picking it out. And we will talk when we are discussing it. Okay. So till now we are clear, guys, in terms of introduction to RPA.
Yeah.
Now insert a blank page break. So, how many of you are know like SDLC? What is SDLC?
Software development lifecycle.
Perfect.
How the process flow happens when any process or any automation or any use case has been initiated. What is the procedure to be followed in order to deploy into the production?
Okay. Perfect. So software development life cycle. And what are the different life cycles we generally have?
Planning.
Oh,
Designing.
SDLC. No, I'm talking about what are the different life cycles.
Agile methodology.
Those are methodologies for the implementation, right? Yeah, this life cycle may change a bit, but the phases and everything will be different. But the way we follow the phases will
Requirement gathering.
change. Yeah. No. See, those are the phases inside of your life cycles, right? What are the different life cycles we have? Software
Testing.
testing life cycle. Testing life cycle, right? We have this as well, right? And what else? Bug life cycle. Do we have this? Bug or issue life cycles? We will talk about this as well later, sir. And we have RDLC. RPA, development life cycle. Okay, so we will not be focusing on this STLC. Okay, we will not be talking about STLC because that is not that much required for us. But let us just list out SDLC phases. We will not talk much on that as well, but we will just list out requirement gathering, right? And next,
Planning.
planning,
Coding.
coding,
Testing.
testing.
Then deliverables.
Sorry,
Deliverables.
deployment, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here also planning, we can say design. This we can say development. Testing, deployment,
So that
and
Maintenance, hypercare.
maintenance.
Maintenance phase and execution.
Maintenance and execution. Or you can say managed service, maintenance and support also, right? We can talk in both the ways. So fine, whatever the words we are using, but the work which we are going to do is the same, right? I think you guys know much more better than me when it comes to the SDLC. I'm not that much great. Thanks for the help, like for sure. And we'll talk about RDLC. So do we need to call it as an RPA development lifecycle? We already have SDLC, right? So software development lifecycle. Why we are talking about RPA development lifecycle? Is it really required to have a separate name?
Can it be considered as the third point, like the coding you gave it in the software development lifecycle?
But we need to do the RPA also testing, right? Whatever the coding you perform, you need to do the testing and you need to have the maintenance and support as well. Right? Deployment needs to be done. Now, here someone mentioned and I forgot to mention it, hypercare, right? So do we need to have a separate name? RPA development lifecycle, can't we simply consider to be software development lifecycle itself?
it's a software, and the RPA is something like a process automation, and it's so it requires support and development and all.
Both are same, right? Even here also development. Here also we do development. See, I'll list out the names in the phases here also, but you will not find much difference between this and that. It will be same. Only the
Estimations.
letters will be changed. That's it. Let us write this.
Estimations.
See,
you're going
that will estimations and everything will fall under your design phase itself, like planning phase itself. It's not like separate, you will not be having it, right? So discovery, discovery, analysis, design, development, testing, hypercare, deployment, hypercare, maintenance, and support. So, end of the story, both are same, right? So, what difference you see? Analysis is nothing but your requirement gathering, right?
Yeah.
Discovery.
Design is nothing but your planning and design, development, testing, deployment. Everything is same, right?
Just an
Maybe the
addition of
process,
discovery.
maybe the process mining, since we need to get which process needs to be automated.
That we will take care in the discovery itself. Discovery is nothing but identification of process which can be automated and preparing of your pipelines for your automation and all. But the rest, everything is similar, right? Not much different. Seriously, guys, not much different. Okay, similar. But whatever the works we perform will slightly vary. And the names of the documents slightly vary. But end of the story, end goal is same. See, end of the story, this is also a software implementation, right? Solution implementation. But whether it doesn't matter whether you're implementing a solution or building a product, almost everything is similar, right? It should always take the same road. Agree or disagree? Guys, can you hear me out?
Yeah, everything looks similar, what you have written in the top and the bottom part also. Yeah.
So both are similar, not much different, but generally people will start calling it as RPA development lifecycle because it's for implementation of RPA. So, but I always prefer to call it as RPA implementation methodology.
So what is hypercare in this? The period of the project or a period of support?
For 2 weeks, we will do that. In case of any issues, when we deploy the automation into the production, we will fix with an emergency request and all. So that we will come to. Hypercare and maintenance,
Just
right?
like
We will separately
monitoring, right?
Sorry?
Just like monitoring, right? Monitoring the process in the
Close
product.
monitoring, you can say close monitoring, and if any issues occurs, we want to go for an immediate fix because suddenly when move it to production, right? So you will obviously face some issues because of some reasons, right? Because your production and non-production can never be identical. Though we say it is an identical, but it can never be identical, right? So you will face some unforeseen issues, right? So for that reason, we will be having this hyper. Okay, now let us deep dive. Why to waste our time, right? So let us deep dive. But before we deep dive, right, I want to call out this bug life cycle also. So what will happen when you are into the maintenance and support, right? The issues may come, right? What we will do? Will identification of root cause. RCA. If change required or any update is required to your code, right? Submit change request. Perform bug fix. Next, testing. and then deployment. Again, it will go to the maintenance and support, right? It's a cycle. It will keep on. As soon as the issue comes, you'll do the RCA, and if change is required, we'll create a change request, and then we will perform the fix, and then we do the testing, and then we go for the deployment. So it is same. Again, this will be keep on doing once the product solution is moved into the production. So we will come to this each of the phases as well. First, let us understand each of this. Discovery phase. Generally, what will be performed in the discovery? Anyone, guys?
Just the CS person will show us how they are doing the process manually, each and every step.
So that we could estimate if that can be automated or not.
Anything else? Anything else, guys? We will be identifying the processes which can be automated, and we will perform the pipelines, like we will do the pipelines also, and we will do the initial cost benefit analysis. So how much you are investing and whether it is worth of investing it or not, whether you will get benefit or not. We will not do the ROI here. ROI we will do after analysis. Return on investment, right? How much you are going to save, how long it will take for you to get whatever that you invested in this, right? You are investing in terms of implementation cost, in terms of license cost, right? So you should be knowing that, like, how long will it take, whether it is beneficial to me or not, right?
Correct.
So all these we will be performing as part of our discovery. See, I'll tell you guys, even in SDLC also that will be there, but that discovery will not be visible to anyone. Without doing all this, right? Which application you want to build, you need to identify, right? You need to pipeline or like prioritize your features of for the product, right? And then you need to do the cost benefit analysis. Without that, who will start with this? But that is not visible. When it comes to the RPA, it is visible. That is the only difference I can see between these two. Okay. Okay, cool. And who will be participating in this? Business users,
Developers,
business analyst, solution architect, and if any BEX team is there, business excellence team, like who are in like to identify the processes or better improve process improvements or something, right? So this is optional, but you need to have these people in the discovery phase. And solution architect is also least priority in terms of discovery. In terms of discovery, it is sorry guys, just give me. Yeah. So, but business analyst and business users plays a major role in identifying of a process that can be automated. Business analyst can reach out to solution architect in terms of technical feasibility or something, but in terms of process identification, these two plays a very key role or major. Clear, guys?
Yes.
And analysis. What generally we do in the as part of our analysis phase. And who will be part of this analysis phase? Who is responsible for this? Right? Business analyst is going to play a key role in the analysis phase. What will be done? the process definition document. And before that, assess the feasibility of the process in both functional and technical. The solution architect also will come into the picture. So technical feasibility will be performed by the solution architect. Functional feasibility will be performed by the business analyst. Okay. And here in the analysis phase, once the process definition document is prepared, and we may need to calculate the ROI also, the like initial estimate of return on investment. But majority of the times we will give the ROI in after the maintenance only. Like we will showcase the ROI, but here we will be providing the ROI report also. Okay, we'll come to the design phase now. In the design phase, we'll be performing the solution design, right? And solution design document will be taken out from here, given from here. And also we will do the effort estimations. And we will provide the timelines for the project. All these will be given here. And here who will be there? Solution architect, developers. Developers plays some lesser role, but the solution architect will play a bigger role here. Here also, business analyst will play a bigger role and smaller role as solution architect. Right? Any queries till this place, guys?
I have a question on ROI report. So we have ROI report 2 times. So what are the differences between these two?
See, this is overall ROI report which we are going to provide. Okay. But in the maintenance and support, ROI report we will not prepare. We will present the ROI. How much savings you are making on your
Like
automation.
Sure.
This is
Estimation report.
assumed. This is estimated. You can say estimated. And whatever we are going to do in the maintenance is the reality what actually happening. Got my point?
Okay. Yes, yes.
Anything, guys? Okay. So in terms of development, we will do the development, right? We will not do anything more than the development, right? Development, but what else will happen? Only development? Unit testing we will perform along with the development itself. We will not do it as part of our testing, majority of the cases. But we should not call out here. We will call in testing only. Development, what else? Code review. Right? We need to complete our code reviews also. Whether the code is development, whatever the development we have made or done is as per the best practices or not. And in terms of testing, what are we have? Unit testing.
UAT.
Integration testing. Call it as SIT also. And user acceptance. UAT. So here who will be there? Developers, team lead, solution architect. Solution architect will play a consulting kind of role here, and he will not be doing any work, but he will be responsible for the code reviews. Here, in the testing, we'll have testing team, business team. So how generally this happens is, once the unit testing and SIT is done, and will record the artifacts. Artifacts is nothing but the test results and share with the business team. Okay? Whatever the testing we have made, right? Input data and what output we received and test case results and all, we will be submitting them to the business team as an evidence that like our automation is working as expected. They will review the test data, and in case if there are any thing that they look like something is not as expected, they will come back to us, or else they will give the sign off and they will initiate the user acceptance test. User acceptance testing will be done by the business users, business team, and this will be almost close to your production environment. Even the data also. See, this will be done, performed with an unseen data and will be done by the SMEs who knows the process very well, and who knows like how they can test the negative scenarios and all these things. So it will be done by them. And once it is successful, it will be moved for the deployment. And then we'll have a 2 weeks of hypercare period. In case if any issues occurs, then we will create a change request. See, here in the bug life cycle, we mentioned change request, right? We'll be having some types of change requests. One of the change request is emergency change request. So we will create that emergency change request and we will deploy during this hypercare. And after that, you need to follow your deployment life cycle. Like generally how it will be there is maybe once in a week or once in 2 weeks, they will be having a deployment time. Let us suppose your organization may allow only to deploy things on only Saturday, every Saturday. So which means like by Thursday, you need to submit all your test evidence and you need to get sign off. Then only you can deploy. Let us suppose you completed your testing, then you got a test results on Friday. You need to wait till next Saturday. Right? So in the hypercare, because it's known fact that like the issues may come, so we are not waiting till that time. So immediately we will fix the issue, we will test our solution and we'll get it approved and we will deploy it into the production. And in the maintenance, right? See here in the hypercare, you will have all these guys. Everyone will be there. Business analyst will be there. Development team will be there. Solution architect will be there. And in the user acceptance testing, business team and business analyst. Testing. Business analyst will work closely with business team in order to get this UATB to be done and completed. Okay. And deployment, obviously, it will be taken care by the infra team and solution architect. And what we are going to provide in the deployment, what document we are going to provide. Code deployed to the production. Change management guide. Run book. Which will be like help you in terms of when it was moved to the production, how the bot operates, or you can say bot operational manual or something. And here you'll be having L1, L2 teams, and the L3 is nothing but the development team. So L1 will be keep on monitoring, and if any issue is coming into the picture, and they will report it. And L2 will analyze the root cause, and RCA will be analyzed. And in case if it is a very minor fix which is not deviating the design, they will fix it, or else like it will be moved to the L3 in case if it is bit complex and in case if it requires a deviation in the design. So in the maintenance, monitoring of the process executions, monitoring of the process execution, right? And root cause analysis, bug fixes. Different. In terms of bug life cycle, how generally this change request and all these things will come, right? So before identification of the root cause, right, incident will be created. Incident will be created. It can be by our L1 team or it can be the business user in case if they see that like process is not executing as expected. Then we'll do the root cause analysis, and if change required, we will create a change request. In some scenarios, only change might not be required. It's kind of a clarification. With incidents will be two types. One is issue incident, other is clarification. And we will be having incident priorities as well. So based on the priorities, we need to have an SLA also associated with that. Like SLA is nothing but by which time we need to respond back. Okay. So there will be two types, and issue based may have an issue in the implementation itself. So for that, we will create a change request and we will perform the fixes, and we'll do the testing, and we need to get it approved by the business team, and then we will go for the deployment. Okay. And here there will be two types of change requests. One is because of the issue, and other is enhancements. In case if there is an enhancement, for that also we will create a change request. So this is how the post deployment bug lifecycle. So any queries, guys?
Patru, can you explain L1, L2, L3 once quickly?
See, this is not all the time same. May change from organization to organization. Okay. And L1 will perform, it's a kind of a level 1 support, right? So what they will do is they will keep on monitoring all the process executions, and if any issue comes into the picture, and if that actually impacts the process, then they will create an incident, and the L2 team will do the root cause analysis. Majority of the cases, L1 will not do the root cause analysis, but it depends on organization to organization. Okay.
Okay.
And L2 will do the root cause analysis and submit the potential fix. And if that doesn't deviates the solution design, and it's a minor fix, and they can perform the bug fix as well.
What
And
is
in
unit
case,
testing here?
sorry,
Unit testing. Unit testing.
unit testing is like you'll be building a separate workflows, right? Individual modules, that unit testing.
So L1 is purely support team, L2 is support plus some kind of development activities to be done.
I can
And
say
L3,
not development, it can be fixes.
yeah, that's what I mean. Coding,
L3, yeah.
code changes.
L3 is something that like look at the enhancements and new implementation. Development team.
Yeah.
Okay. Any queries, guys? We're open for the questions for some time.
You don't mind share this document after the class?
Sure. I will do that. And any questions, guys? If there is nothing, we are good to close.
Patru, when we are
Not.
Yeah.
Continue.
Yeah. When we are having any type of in the bug, that means when we are going to get any type of in the bugs, during that particular that time you are saying like that we need to raise an incident. What if it is the case that we don't have in the updation in the package? Like we are not going to change anything within the code, just within the config changes. In that cases, we don't want to raise any type of an the incident, right?
Ideally, we should recreate the incident and we need to give the root cause analysis and then we need to update the config. Ideal way of implementation.
Okay.
See, there will be some ways like we need to perform in this way, but do not expect that. Like, see, don't come back to me and ask me that, like, see, you mentioned in this way, but in my organization it is different. So it depends on organization and people.
Yeah,
right? So,
okay, okay.
but ideal way is this, like even if you do a minor change in the config also, it should have an incident and that actually gives a proper tracking.
Yeah, correct.
Pushpendra, you raised your hand, like do you want to ask anything or no?
No, I have already asked.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Anil, you are trying to ask something.
Yeah, if you don't mind, if not now, can you explain how to calculate ROI and other estimation analysis? We have to calculate two things right at the start of the process.
Okay, sure. We'll think of it like where I can accommodate or like to have at least separate session for that, like because we already covered two batches, right? They also we didn't cover this and no one asked us. So let me see if I can just have a webinar on that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay. Cool, guys. Then if it doesn't have any much questions, then we're good to drop off.
Question like
Yeah.
about this training and all. So this will be a development kind of training, or it will be a role based all.
This is kind of a development more of like, see, we will be covering like a developer perspective, but this session is more of like you need to understand the complete ecosystem, how it works, right? So because of that,
Okay.
we are talking all this, but from tomorrow it will be more developer centric.
Okay, and about the other this one about the other products. So are we going to deep dive in other products, or is just introductory?
Other products in the sense, I'm not getting your question.
Like path products, different products like
No,
UiPath.
we will be deep diving only into the studio and RE framework,
Okay,
not to other products.
thank you.
Anything, guys? Cool then. I think we are good to close. And thanks for joining and hope to see you in the next session again. Thank you all. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Bhaskar.
Thank you.